What is the difference between seawater and plasmaceater? And plasma are both fluids that contain water and various dissolved substances, such as salts, minerals, and gases. However, they have some differences in their composition and function. Here are some of the main differences. Salinity. Seawater has a higher salinity than plasma, which means it has more dissolved salts per unit of volume. The average salinity of seawater is about 35 grams per liter, while the average salinity of plasma is about 9 grams per liter. This difference affects the osmotic pressure and the water balance of the cells. Minerals. Seawater and plasma have different proportions of minerals such as sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and chloride. For example, seawater has more sodium and chloride than plasma, while plasma has more potassium and calcium than seawater. These minerals are important for the electrical and chemical activity of the cells and the organs. Gases. Seawater and plasma have different amounts and types of dissolved gases, such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. For example, seawater has less oxygen and more carbon dioxide than plasma, while plasma has more nitrogen than seawater. These gases are involved in the respiration and the pH regulation of the cells and the body. Seawater and plasma are both essential for life, but they are not interchangeable. Seawater is the original and natural medium for marine life, while plasma is the adapted and specialized medium for terrestrial life. Seawater and plasma can influence each other, but they also need to maintain their own balance and function. What is the difference between isotonic and hypertonic seawater? Isotonic and hypertonic seawater are two types of seawater solutions that have different effects on the cells of living organisms. The main difference is the concentration of salts and minerals in the seawater compared to the plasma, which is the fluid that fills the cells and blood. Isotonic seawater has the same concentration of salts and minerals as the plasma, which means it has the same osmotic pressure and water balance as the cells. Isotonic seawater can help restore and maintain the health and function of the cells and blood, especially in cases of dehydration, infection, or injury. Hypertonic seawater has a higher concentration of salts and minerals than the plasma, which means it has a higher osmotic pressure and water balance than the cells. Hypertonic seawater can cause water to move out of the cells and into the seawater, which can make the cells shrink and lose their function. Hypertonic seawater can also cause dehydration, irritation, and inflammation. Therefore, isotonic and hypertonic seawater have different effects on the cells of living organisms, and they should be used with caution and guidance. Isotonic seawater can be beneficial for health and wellness, while hypertonic seawater can be harmful and dangerous water, and its effects on living things. Water is amazing. It is not only a substance that we drink or use, but also a substance that we are made of. Water makes up 60–75% of our body weight, and it is essential for all our life processes. Water also affects the lives of other living things, from plants to animals to microbes. Water is the source and the supporter of life. Water has many effects on living things, such as water dissolves many substances that living things need, such as nutrients, minerals, and gases. Water is called the universal solvent because it can dissolve more substances than any other liquid. This makes water a great medium for transporting and delivering these substances to different parts of the body or the cell. For example, water carries oxygen from the lungs to the tissues, and carbon dioxide from the tissues to the lungs. Water also carries glucose from the digestive system to the cells, and waste products from the cells to the kidneys. Water participates in many biochemical reactions that living things use to make or break down molecules. Water is involved in both synthesis and hydrolysis reactions. Synthesis reactions are when smaller molecules join together to form larger molecules, such as proteins or DNA. Hydrolysis reactions are when larger molecules break down into smaller molecules, such as starch or fats. In both cases, water is either added or removed from the molecules. For example, water is added to break down starch into glucose, and water is removed to join amino acids into proteins. Water helps regulate the temperature of living things and their environments. Water has a high specific heat, which means that it takes a lot of energy to change its temperature. This helps living things maintain a stable internal temperature, even when the external temperature changes. For example, water absorbs heat from the sun and releases it slowly, keeping the earth from getting too hot or too cold. Water also evaporates from the skin or the leaves, cooling the body or the plant. Water provides support and shape to living things. Water has a property called turgor pressure, which is the pressure that water exerts on the cell wall or the membrane. This pressure helps keep the cell or the tissue firm and rigid. For example, water gives plants their shape and structure and allows them to stand upright and grow. Water also cushions and protects the organs and the joints in animals and helps them move and bend. Water enables living things to reproduce and grow. Water is necessary for many processes that are involved in reproduction and growth, such as fertilization, development, and germination. Water also provides the environment for many living things to reproduce and grow, such as aquatic animals and plants. For example, water allows sperm and egg cells to meet and fuse. Water allows embryos and seeds to develop and sprout, and water allows fish and algae to swim and thrive. Water is amazing. It has many effects on living things that make life possible and diverse. Water is not only a substance that we drink or use, but also a substance that we are made of. Water is the source and the supporter of life.